Kathāvatthuppakaraṇa-aṭṭhakathā. Bimala, CHURN Law, Ph.D. M.A. B.L. September 23, 1939. Chapter 1. Herein is the person known in the sense of a real and ultimate object. Is the question. Yes is the reply. Now whose is this question, and whose this reply? It cannot be said of any person, for a list of contents was laid down by the Exalted One, by way of a text, in order to clear the various kinds of propositions in this collection. Abiding by the method as given by the teacher, this has been classified by the elder by way of a text. It was not that the elder himself disputed all the theories which have been shown here. This being so, in order that the meaning of those controversies may be grasped easily, we shall give the explanation, classifying them thus. Question of a Sakavadin and its corresponding answer of a Paravadin, and then question of a Paravadin and answer of a Sakavadin thereto. Is the person got it in a real and ultimate sense? Is the question of a Sakavadin. That, by this question, the Pugalavadini who held the view person exists, could be asked thus, is shown. But who were the Pugalavadins? In the Sasana, the Vajrapatakas and Samatyas, and many other teachers not belonging to the Sasana. Therein, person means self, being, vital principle. Is gotten means having been approached by the understanding, is cognized. In the sense of a real and ultimate object. Here, real means that which is not to be apprehended as not fact, like magic, a mirage and the like. Actual, ultimate, means that which is not to be accepted as hearsay, highest sense. By the expression, just as the person is known objectively, as both real and ultimate, so also the material form is known, and so forth, a classification of the 57 ultimates of our conscious experience consisting of 5. Aggregates, 12. Sense organs and objects, 18. Elements and 22. Controlling powers, being shown. It is inquired, is your person got it in the same way as a true and real object is got at the opponent a sense? Yes. In some cases, to show affirmation yes, sir has been employed, while in other cases, yes. In this connection, yes has been used. Here the sense is this. There is a sutta handed down wherein the Exalted One, handling another's point of view, said, there is, for instance, the person who is working for his own advantage. Because he accepted this, and because the Exalted One whose utterances were true and mutually consistent, who preached Dharma not from a traditional belief and the like, and who himself had universal knowledge and made it known, and because the opponent said, there is, for instance, the person who is working for his own advantage, and therefore that person exists in the sense of a real and ultimate object, accepting this view as sense. Yes, unwilling to give him a chance to make such a sham and fraudulent utterance, the Sakavadin then says, that which is real, and so forth. Here the sense is this. Just this which, from an objective point of view, is explained as causal or without a cause, conditional or unconditional, eternal or transitory, with or without attributes, a classification of the ultimates of our conscious experience consisting of the material form and the like has been handed down. It is not to be accepted as something conventional or traditional. It is a real object by virtue of its being a thing as such. It is an ultimate object by virtue of its being directly perceived. With reference to this he asks, is the person got it in the same way as a real and ultimate object is got it in the same way? This is an instrumental phrase. So here it means, is the person got it in a real and ultimate sense, this is to say, is the person got it in the same way as a real and ultimate object is got it, because of its having either material form and the like, or because of the relation categories and the like. That cannot be truly said is the denial of the opponent. He denies because he does not mean person of that sort. Here the words are to be analyzed thus. That cannot be truly said means that it is not right to say yes. It means, that cannot be truly said with regard to both. Acknowledge your refutation, says the Sakavadin. It means, because your former proposition is not the same as the latter proposition, and because the latter cannot be reconciled with the former, so you are refuted. Acknowledge this refutation, offense, fault. Having enjoined the refutation, he then, in order to make it clear through positing, gaining, and assigning in direct and indirect methods, says, if the person, and so on. Here if the person, and so on means if the person be known, supposing that the person be known in the sense of a real and ultimate object. The positing indirect method is so called because here the opponent's proposition is conditionally established for the purpose of refutation through gaining and assigning. Because the expression then, indeed, good sir, and so on, in direct proposition, is gotten for refutation, it is termed gaining indirect method. Here, then, is an instrumental phrase, indeed, expresses confidence, good sir, is a term of address. That is to say, then indeed, good sir, you should also say, etc. It means, indeed, look here, good sir, for that reason you should also say. Because the expression what you affirm there, and so on in direct proposition, is placed for refutation, it is termed lifting indirect method. Before the word wrong, at the end of it, this of yours, is to be brought down. It means this of yours is wrong. Later on, this has been used in the text. But you ought not to say, and so on, means. You ought not to say thus. Because here the contrary proposition is conditionally established for the purpose of refutation through gaining and assigning, it is termed positing in indirect method. Because the expression and indeed, good sir, you do not, and so on in indirect proposition is gotten for refutation, it is termed gaining in indirect method. Because the expression again you affirm that, and so on, in indirect proposition, is placed for refutation, it is termed assigning in indirect method. Here also before the word wrong, at the end of it, this of yours, is to be adduced. Later on, too, in similar cases, this is the rule. This is the meaning, in short, from the beginning. If the person be got it in a real and ultimate sense, then indeed you should say, the person is got it in the same way. That which you say here is wrong, namely, that in the former question we ought to say, the person is got it in a real and ultimate sense, but in the latter question we ought not to say, the person is got it in the same way as. In this way, the positing, gaining, and assigning in direct method take place. Now in the latter question, we ought not to say, is got it in the same way is known. In the former question, too, we ought not to say so. That which you say here is wrong, namely, that in the former question we ought to say, the person is got it in a real and ultimate sense. But in the latter question we ought not to say, the person is got it in the same way as. In this way, the positing, gaining, and assigning in indirect method take place. Because the refutation and also the fourfold, gaining, and assigning from direct and indirect methods are thus stated, it is got at as the fivefold affirmative presentation. Here whatever, gaining, and assigning, there are from the direct method are considered as one. The gaining, and assigning, from the indirect method are also taken to be as one. In this way, the twofold refutation is made out. But here it refers to acknowledge your refutation, because the first refutation for the first statement is got it, etc., has been set up in two ways. This is only one refutation, i.e., the first refutation. Then follows the adverse method. Here the question is of the opponent. As he accepts the statement, there is, for instance, the person who is working for his own advantage, he does not agree, and he asks, is not got at, and so forth, since it is not to be got at as the properties like rupa, etc. are got at, the Sakavadin answers, no, it is not got at. Concerning the truth in what he himself meant, the other again said, that which is real, and so on. He says thus, because he treats the popular truth and the ultimate truth as one. The person has got a secondary meaning. So when, after the two kinds of truth are treated as one, he is asked, he denies. It is not. By this, whatever has been said regarding its ungettered ableness in a real and ultimate sense is first accepted, and then denied as a popular truth, or as a mixed one. The opponent, however, in conformity with his words, is it not got at, falsely argues. That which you accepted first is rejected afterwards, and, as if quarreling over the disputed pot, while retorting to the refutation of his own.